हाँ जी, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। What do you know about post-colonial?
पोस्ट कॉलोनियल सर जो कॉलोनियलिज्म के बाद जो इफेक्ट होते हैं उसके असरात।
What is colonialism?
कॉलोनियलिज्म मीन्स सर जब स्ट्रांग कंट्री जो है वो किसी पुअर कंट्री पे जो है वो पावर जो है वो शो करती है।
As we know, every field has its own vocabulary and its own dictionary. If you are going through in medical, for example, they are having their own terminologies. You are going in technology, they are going through their own language. बात समझ रहे हैं? I mean that language, that terminology, that vocabulary is specific to that field. For example, I would like to ask a question. What is meaning of cell? What is the meaning of cell?
फिर मोबाइल खुलिया उसके बाद कोई और भी कर सकते हैं।
So basic unit of life.
Okay.
And in other words, now it is considered as we refer to
जेल
mobile phone as well.
उसके भी
Okay.
सर
What about battery cell?
Yes, sir. That one is also called as cell.
What about the jail cell?
Yes, sir. That is also accurate.
Okay, good. So it means every field is having its own vocabulary, its own key terms. So there are certain key terms that are being used while we are studying post-colonialism. So today we will be discussing what are those terms, those we discuss while studying post-colonialism. Instead of explaining things, we can use certain terms to explain that what is meant of by that, what is meant by that. Getting my point? So first of all, we will be discussing colonialism. As we have already discussed, is that is something while any powerful or strong country is showing power and rolling over the poor country, that is called
Colonialism.
colonialism. Getting my point? What is meant by colonialism? We all know that it is some sort of show of power and rolling over some poor countries by the powerful countries, or poor nation by the powerful nation, or by the poor over the poor army by the powerful army. In today's scenario, let's consider that Britain as our colonizers, and in colonized sense we will be discussing ourselves. I mean subcontinent. Getting my point? While ever we will be giving examples about the colonialism or post-colonialism, colonizers and colonized, we will be discussing our own colonization, that is of subcontinent.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
post-colonialism what?
Yes, sir.
Broadly a study of the effects of colonialism on cultures and societies. What effect did colonialism make over the societies, over the natives, over their cultures, over their language, over their dressing, over their mentality, over their psychology, throughout the whole study of the effects of colonialism over the colonized countries, over the colonized nations, or over the colonized geographical situations. That study is called post-colonialism. One more thing that I would like to discuss here, I already have told you that by the colonizers, we once all those once had been colonized, they are considered the third world countries for the colonizers. Mean in this sense, we like Pakistanis, we are third world country. India, that is third world country. Africa, that is third world country. Bangladesh, that is third world country. All those countries, once those have been colony to any of the colonizers, they are nowadays called third world countries, and they are titled as third world. Clear?
Yes, sir.
This effect can be broader to the three stages. We can discuss three stages in post-colonialism. First one, an initial of the social, psychological, cultural inferiority enforced by the being a colonized state. That how we considered ourselves as a inferior being, inferiority complex, you may say. Made us inferior. We have been discussing throughout the novella, Heart of Darkness, that they used to say that we are white man's burden. Like we colonized people are white man's burden. They are torch bearer. They had us. This show to us being the native of the colonized country. Obviously, it means that we are inferior being, they are superior being, and they have taken the authority to civilize us. The struggle for ethnic, cultural, and political autonomy, a growing awareness of culture overlap and hybridity. So, one more thing, let me make it clarified that we still consider ourselves as the inferior being. Research says that the sense of being inferior, the sense of inferiority complex is being transferred to us through genetics, through our forefathers. According to our forefathers, if we are inferior being, then definitely the next generation will be thinking we are inferior being. So research says if in the front of African boy there are two dolls in front of him, one is white and the second one is black, definitely he'll be choosing the white one. Why? Because that he unconsciously thinks that white things or white people are superior one. So same is the case. Multiple times I have given you examples that even that this use of fair and lovely could have been for being black if our colonizers used to be black. So all that is post colonial effect. So we have to study them. Why wherever we are studying all these things, that is called post colonialism. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next one is ambivalence. Who will read this slide?
The ambiguous way in which colonizer and colonized regard one another. The colonizer often regards the colonized as both inferior yet exotically other, while the colonized regards the colonizer as both enviable yet corrupt. In a context of hybridity, this often produces a mixed sense of blessing and curse.
Yes, what do you understand by this statement?
सर जहाँ पे colonizer और colonized का एक दूसरे के साथ अपना ताल्लुक और उसके बाद वो कह रहा है कि colonized को वो colonizer inferior समझते हैं, वो अपने से कमतर समझते हैं और उन्हें
Would
इसी
you please
बात का
discuss in
means
English?
वो yes sir
Would you please try to discuss it in English?
yes sir this statement means it's a way where colonizer understand the colonized people inferior and exotic. Mean exotic here resemblance means an animal uh, means which has the splendid beauty but not for the sake of but not for taking in good sense. Just
Mhm.
it is like a means a pearl which has shine but not a usable.
Okay.
And
Yes,
sir,
anyone else who would like to participate?
Sir, we can say that a big difference in sir, the colonizer and who are colonized by colonizer. Colonizer cannot give them equal rights.
Okay.
In this
Yes, sir.
case, cannot say that.
Thank you, Howard.
So, what I understand in this slide is that the colonizers consider the colonized ones as inferior and like they are dominant to them, while the colonized who are colonized they consider the colonizers as both blessed and as a blessing on them, as well as corrupt, as well as a peak of corruption on them. So we can say that at some in some aspect the colonized one considers the colonizers as a blessing to them, even if they consider them as corrupt as well. So we can say that this exchange of cultures produces both a sense of blessing and curse in both parts, whether it is about the colonized ones or the colonizers.
Yes, you are very true. Yes, it is about both of them. That is what colonizers are considering to colonized and what colonized are considering. Yes, Osama, you want to say?
sir, I want to add something that in a sense in a context of hybridity. Sir, in a context of hybridity, if the colonized people understand their colonizer as a blessing and curse, it means the elite class will consider their colonizer as a blessing, and the lower or poor class will consider as a curse to their colonizer.
Very good point. Because why will be they saying blessing? They colonizers are forcefully have to accept the elite class. If they go against the elite class, definitely they will resist. Okay. That's why they will have to take favor from the elite class, and they will have to be good with the elite class. And with the low class, definitely they will be behaving something like others. So although they do behave others with, I'll be discussing the concept of other, that is also term in post colonialism. So definitely they don't behave like themselves with the elite class of colonized even, but they behave somehow good than of the poor class. So in both the regards, whatever colonizers think about the colonized and whatever colonized think about the colonizers, that is called simply ambivalence. Okay. So, what is the language for the those African people? Those were being cursed in novella Heart of Darkness. What do they used to say them? Savages, criminals.
Yes, sir. Cannibals.
That is what the colonizers used to think about the colonized one. And what used to colonize think, that the smell of greed. You remember, we have studied the smell of greed in them, the
Yes.
smell of dead
Yes,
body.
sir.
So that was thinking of the colonized about the colonizers. So what was the last words of Kurtz? The horror, the horror.
The horror.
Yes, exactly. So that is what colonizers think about the colonized, and what colonized think about the colonizers. That is called ambivalence. Alterity. Who will treat this? The state of
The
being
so
other
being.
are different. The state of being other are different. The political, cultural, linguistic, or religious others. The study of the ways in which one group makes themselves different from others. In simple, the state of being other or different, the state, the condition, wo halat, wherever you feel other, that state is called alterity. So what is the concept of self and other? They never considered the colonized the part of themselves. So let me explain. What is the difference between our colonization being a Muslim over the subcontinent, and what is the difference of colonization of Britons over the subcontinent? What we did being a Muslim, when we rolled over the subcontinent, we made that place our residence. We became the part of that. That was our land. That was native to our generations, next generations. But what the Britons
Sir,
did,
we spread morality and our religion as a peaceful, and so the Britain do for just their greed and just there for own purpose.
Osama, we can't say that it was good for everyone. As I told you earlier, that sometime our hero is enemy for the others, then their hero is enemy for us. So those who were non-Muslims, how they consider that spreading Islam or promulgation of Islam was the good act. But the basic difference there was, that was we resided there. We took that land our as our native land. But what they did, they came there, they occupy the resources, and they snatched them, and they took them away to their native lands. So they never considered the natives, the colonized part of themselves. So here comes the concept that they are by themselves, they are self, and the rest of the people for them are others. So all the colonized people are others for them. So state of being different or state of being other is called alterity. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next one is, the next key term in post-colonial studies is colonial education. What is colonial education? The system introduced by the colonizers, the system of education introduced by the side of colonizers, that is colonial education. Let me explain how. Mean, if we introduced our education system to the others, definitely we will be introducing, yes, Muslims are good, Pakistan is good, their culture is good, their religion is good, each and everything is good. So you will have to think from this perspective, that perspective. Our perspectives are changed than others. So definitely, if we look at our schooling system, international schooling system, what is their syllabus, what is their way of teaching, what is their content, although somehow that is
Yes.
controlled, but not at all. Wherever colonizers give their education system and they make them ready to think like them, to see the world as they look at that word, so that system is called colonial education system. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
The next key term in post-colonial studies is diaspora. What is diaspora? Displacement or diaspora, that is term that is used in post-colonialism, and it means migration. Okay, some migrations are by our own choices, and some migrations are enforced one. Some other powers are forcing to the migrates to migrate from their native lands. That situation is called diaspora. Diasporal literature is often concerned with questions of maintaining or altering identity, language, and culture while in other culture or country. Let me give you example. If there is situation where the character has migrated, you are studying, I think, which of Mohsin Hamid's novel?
Reluctant
The reluctant
fundamentalist.
fundamentalist.
The Reluctant Fundamentalist. Over there, there is migration. I think he travels to USA. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So that example will suit you better. Over there, wherever the literature is produced, and in literature the character has migrated, has left his native land and he resided somewhere else, the situation of that character is diasporic situation. I hope this time this is somehow clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Who will be reading?
Diaspora literature is often concerned with questions of maintaining or altering identity, language, and culture while in another culture or country.
That is all about maintaining your identity, your culture, your language. So everything is on the question there. So you are not sure about your identity. So you keep asking, what is my identity of being here? So I am not being considered the part of USA, and I am not being the part of the Pakistani culture. I'm not speaking my language. I'm not following my culture. And what is my identity, by the way, here? They are not ready to accept me as a native, and I'm not in my native land. So this sort of situation, this sort of diasporic situation is called diaspora. In other words, displacement. Clear?
So, can we also call it is identity crisis?
Yes, because of diasporic situation there, that is caused identity crisis. One of the example of identity crisis is diaspora. So otherwise, colonization overall is also snatching your identity. Feminism also discusses the identity crisis, wherever female is not getting her identity. For example, if there is culture of being called Mrs. Flan, getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Feminists raise question, what is meant by Mrs. Flan? Means she don't herself has any identity. Why is she being called with the name of her husband? So that is also considered identity crisis. Once I had given you example that they are feminist writers are not agree with the pronoun her. They say that actual pronoun was he, so you just added r after he, so that is her. Don't use he, his, her, she, rather use it. That is suggested by the feminist writers. Probably if we go to this discussion, that we will be going further. So let us complete this first. Okay, next technical term for post-colonialism is hegemony. What is hegemony?
Convince other classes for their interest to convince them,
Okay.
basically.
I have been giving you examples as our ancestors or forefathers used to say that they are Angrez people who give you the track, who give you the railway system. So why are our forefathers in their favor? Why they considered they were good rulers? They did good for us. Our government is not doing good with us. One example. And other example, while USA was fighting against Afghanistan and Iraq, so we provided them space, stay their ships, and to make them fly and to make them land. How they made us convince to do that?
For our interest, sir.
Definitely. They said that terrorism is mutual interest of whole the world. That is your interest. That is our interest. So we have to fight with them collectively. We can't fight it individually. Through media, through their responses, through their speeches, they made us convinced that whatever is their interest, that is our interest too. So we'll have to help them. So how they convinced our forefathers that railway tracks are for us? They convinced them that they are for the native peoples. They are for their comfort or for their traveling, for their journeys. So, in fact, what was the motive? They want to take back all the natural resources to England. So, USA wanted to take their benefits to to convince their own natives that we are fighting against the terrorism. So they convinced us. They used media. They used education to convince us whatever their interest is, that is our interest. So this sort of terminology is called hegemony. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then comes hybridity. Who will be reading this slide?
New transcultural forms that arise from cross cultural exchange. Hybridity can be social, political, linguistic, religious, etc. It is not necessarily a peaceful mixture, for it can be co- contentious and disruptive in its experience. Note the two related definitions.
Hybridity basically is mixture of two cultures. So that can be on the behalf of social, that can be political, that can be linguistical, that can be religious, etc. Mixing of two cultures is called in fact hybridity. So there are two further terms. One is catalysis. What is catalysis? Experience of several ethnic groups interacting and mixing with each other, often in a contentious environment that gives way to new forms of identity and experience. Let me explain. What was the religion in subcontinent? Hindu, Sikh, and Muslims whenever their Muslim came. So that is called catalysis, the mixture of the first generation when they are mixing. Theek? Then comes creolization. Societies that arise from a mixture of ethnic and racial mixing to form a new material, psychological, and spiritual self definition. Uske baad, for example, let me give you another example. Someone is married from Africa and America, male from Africa or female from Africa, and the next gender from America. So their collection, their mixture is called catalysis, and their generation, their kids, their childs will be called creolization. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The major
Yes, sir.
term is hybridity, that is mixture of cultures, and there comes two further terminologies. One is catalysis, that is mixture of first generation, and after their mixture, what comes the next generation, that is called creolization. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Identity. Who will be reading the identity other than Saman?
The way in which an individual and or group defines itself. Identity is important to self-concept, social mores, and national understanding. It often involves both essentialism and otherings.
You basically know what is identity. Your identity comes on multiple behalves. First of all, your identity that you are Muslim. Second of all, your identity that you are Pakistani. Third is you are from Punjab. Fourth is you are from DG Khan, and so on. That is your identity. The basic identity that you have, you are Muslim, you are Pakistani. The most of the time, identity is being discussed. Then comes identity crisis as well. As someone was asking about identity crisis, definitely wherever you are not enabled to find your identity accurately from where you belong, the term whenever you feel that you belong nowhere, basically that is identity crisis. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ideology, a system of values, beliefs, or ideas shared by some social group and often taken for granted as natural or inherently true. So that is that is definition of ideology given by Brodwell and Thompson. So system of values, beliefs, or ideas shared by some social group. That is about ideology. That नजरिया जिसे आप कहते हैं. So you got the ideology of Islam that became the basic reason for ideology of Pakistan, for the struggles to get emergence of Pakistan. At that time, that was your ideology, that we are Muslim, we are different nation, we are the follower of one God only, we can't be same with the Hindus and Sikhs and so on. That was your ideology. Ideology is most of the time is being discussed. Then comes language. Language is most critical and precious part in the hybridity in post-colonialism. Language is not only language. Language basically transfers your ideologies, your concepts. For example, what use the Christian use the word for God, they use father. Getting my point?
Yes,
So
sir.
over there,
Yes, sir.
whenever here they are using father, unconsciously the concept of considering God as their father or considering Jesus Christ as their father transfers with the language. ठीक, हमें क्या लगता है, हम सिर्फ कह रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं उनकी लैंग्वेज, by itself we are also transmitting their ideology as well. Whenever we are saying father to the Jesus Christ, it means we are also emitting or transferring their ideology that Jesus Christ was the son of the God. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
You don't have the word masjid in English language. You will have to say mosque if you are speaking properly. You can't say Makkah, you will have to say Mecca, and so on. Language is not only language. Language also carries the culture, the ideology, the system, the religion, the traditions, the rights. Each and everything is consisting of language, consisted by language. Language carries all of those notions with itself. So language is another important part that is used in the post-colonial terminologies. Then comes abrogation. Abrogation is what? Whenever the colonized people are writing, margin writes back to the center, या मैंने कहा था colonized people writes back to the center, वो मीडियम कौन सा अडॉप्ट करते हैं? इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज. बट वो क्या करते हैं, उसको प्रॉपर वे में यूज नहीं करते. मतलब either they don't follow the grammar rules, or they don't follow the correct spellings, or they don't follow their spellings and add local words. This is abrogation, using local words and not following the actual rules, and a refusal to use the language of colonizers in a correct and standard way. That is called abrogation. Then comes appropriation, the process by which the language is made to bear the burden of one's own culture experience. ठीक, the process by which the language is made to bear the burden of one's own culture experience. For example, our culture is different than of English people. In our culture, there are multiple things those are not included in their culture. For example, nowadays you watch as Google Calendar, on the Google Calendar, it will be writing
Yes, sir.
Holi and
Holi, Diwali.
Baisakhi, and further there are multiple terminologies. Those are written in English, but the word is of any other language. Getting my point?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And that is called appropriation. Probably you are being confused in those abrogation and appropriation. Abrogation is consciously committing that you don't want to use the language accurately, the colonizer's language accurately. Appropriation is using those words, those are not included in the English culture, but you are adding them as it is, as they are called in your culture. For example, you say Eid. For example,
Yes, sir.
you say charpai. If it's not in their culture, you make, when you make any language to bear cultural experiences, burden of cultural experiences, that is called appropriation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.